We're on. We're on. We're on the air.
Hello.
Woohoo! Rock and roll. How you doing, Kristina?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Wow.
It's early.
I'm good. Except the
Saturday
internet
morning
looks
for you.
like it's
Saturday
just
afternoon.
crapping itself. Yeah, Saturday afternoon, midday here in the future in Melbourne. The internet looks like it's just completely crapping itself. How's everyone doing in the chat there? And we're off.
Okay,
hopefully the video fixes itself. Audio is all good. Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for having us.
All right. Well, we've got 101 ways. So
yeah, we should get into it, right? This is
Let's
101 ways to rock as a freelancer. You want to introduce yourself?
How many freelancers do we have here? Yeah, it's cutting in and out a bit. How's my audio, guys?
Geez,
Can you hear me okay?
Is really cutting.
Shut Troy out.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so 100 ways to rock as a freelancer. People can hear us both. I'm Kristina Romero, WP Elevation. That's Mr. Troy Dean. Okay, good. They're going to kill the video so our audio is better. How's that sound?
Yeah, much better.
Much better.
Yeah, you can kill the video if you like.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, we have someone who saw us in Boston.
Oh, awesome.
Hey.
Cool.
All right, so let's get into it.
Sweet. All right. So, yep.
All right.
I'm Troy Dean from WP Elevation. Christina's driving the slides. So strap yourselves in, kids. Let's go.
So I'm going to move him. I'm going to move my Troy along. So we have 100 ways to rock as a freelancer, and we're going to go through these really quickly because it's a lot of ways. So as we go through these chunks of 10, if anything jumps out at you, put it in the chat and we'll talk about it so that we can focus on the ones that really get people's attention. So Troy, why don't you kick us off?
Awesome. And we crowdsourced some of these ideas from our WP Elevation members. So where one of the ideas is suggested by them, we'll have that on the screen. So this is suggested by Ursula Camo, and she says, trust your instincts. And I think what we mean here is, you know, we've all taken on jobs that we kind of know we shouldn't have and work with clients that we know are going to be a pain in the ass. And 4 weeks into the project, we're dreading it and we're straight back to where we didn't want to be. So rule number 1, trust your instincts. Next slide. Here we go. Develop a niche. This is suggested by Clifford Almeida. Develop a niche. You can't be everything to anyone. You can't be everything to everyone. I mean, you need to develop a niche and focus on the type of clients that you want to serve the best, because you can't keep everyone happy all the time. And if you try, you'll just end up pleasing nobody. And the nice dovetail that is develop a wheelhouse. And I actually learned this from Kristina. A wheelhouse is your area of expertise, so your actual skill set. So where develop a niche is focusing on the clients that you want to attract, develop a wheelhouse is focusing on the skills that you want to specialize in. Keep learning. You're all here on a Friday night because you either have no friends or you're interested in learning some new stuff. So keep learning. You know, the internet's changing. Technology changes so quickly. Keep up with it. Keep learning and get comfortable with the details. Thank you to Diana Gaffney for this idea. What this means here is don't delegate by, you know, completely abdicating responsibility. You have to get comfortable with the details so that you can talk turkey with clients. And number 6,
there's a delay in the slides a bit.
There is go wide and deep. And what this means is really the takeaway here is keep asking lots of questions of your clients. Don't take their first answer on face value. Just keep digging in, go wide and deep with questioning your clients to find out what they're really trying to achieve. And number 7, there is a delay on those slides. Set deadlines and mean it. So set yourself deadlines. Set yourself deadlines and set deadlines for your clients and tell them that those deadlines are, you know, they're set in stone, that there have to be consequences for not meeting deadlines. Plan your week every Monday, work out what you're trying to achieve that week, what needs to happen and what your goals are, and plan that out. Makes the rest of the week a lot easier if you've got a plan. Number 9, create tasks for yourself. Whatever project management software you're using, set your own business up as a client and set yourself up as a member and create tasks for yourself as well as your team members. And number 10, Set aside time to grow. That delay on those slides is a killer. Set aside time to grow. Put time in your calendar each week to nurture growth, whether it's business development, whether it's skills, whether it's learning code, whether it's UI, UX, whatever it is. Maybe just going to a WordPress meetup, but actually put it in the calendar. All right. So that's the first 10 ideas.
Perfect.
No one really asking too many questions. Take it away, Kristina.
We're going to chunk this up into 10 at a time, especially with me driving the slides. This is actually probably a really good idea. But you hit on a couple. If anyone sees stuff that really speaks to them, just shout it out and we'll dig a little bit more. So I'll just head into the next 10 because we have 100 ways to go. People said they can't hear me at all.
No, I can't hear Kristina at all, apparently. Aaron, I can hear you fine. I can hear you fine. Great.
Oh, thank you. All the love. Okay, perfect. So let's head into the next one.
Yep.
We say use shiny tools, and this is kind of the opposite of sometimes what people say, like don't jump to the next shiny tool. But with shiny tools, sometimes you have to invest in that premium plugin or that particular software that's a SaaS because you really need it to run a productive business. So we say go for it and use those shiny tools. You want to also perfect your referral machine. Your clients are also your best referral machine. So you give to other people by saying, who can you refer to them? And in turn, they refer to you. So you ask them who their ideal client is. And then in turn, they'll ask you who your ideal client is. And it forms a beautiful referral machine. So next, of course, build with WordPress. But we also mean this in a way that, you work with WordPress. So build with WordPress to even run your business. Use it in all the different ways that you can. I do a lot from WordPress for almost managing my business. So build with it and you'll get really better at it as a platform. Next, we say use automation. Our favorite thing is Zapier. What Troy has set up is insane with automation. I'm like a way junior level to all that he's been able to accomplish. But when we automate our business, we're able to kind of get off of some things and stop bottlenecking and start getting in the way. So as a freelancer, you start to automate and you really start to rock. And create canned email replies. We find that if you find that you're answering the same email twice, that's when you need to create a canned email reply. We have that set up for our support as well. So if they're finding they've answered the same question 2 or 3 times, it needs to become a canned email reply. And then wait for the deposit. Is anyone in the chat here actually started a project without waiting for the deposit? I think we've all made that mistake and all paid the price for it. So Robert Wild says never again. And Matt says epic fail. Yeah, we are all on that. So that's a huge tip right there. And then in the same respect, get paid before working on a live site. This is huge. When you are going to work on a live site, create the quote, send it to the client and have them pay. Otherwise, toss it onto a staging server, do it there and make them pay before you deliver it. So that's a huge one too. And a lot of people miss that one. And then use a password manager. This is not just for a security issue, but actually allows you to take a vacation. Because if you create all of your clients' information in password manager, you can pass that off to somebody else and allow them to take over sites while you're away on sick leave, on vacation. It just really systemizes your business. But in the same respect, you're not fishing around all the time for people's stuff. So with LastPass, you can even share, I think in one password you can share without showing someone the password. So they just kind of install that browser extension and then can use the access they have to log in without actually having the password. Finally, 2 more. Use the cloud. I know everyone kind of thinks a little bit of this obvious, but if you utilize Google Drive and put everything up in the cloud, then if your computer does crash or a backup fails or your computer is stolen, you are not left without a business. So we really like to kind of, Troy and I both really utilize Google Drive for basically everything and make sure it's in the cloud. And finally, save backups of old client sites. So even if you don't think they're ever going to be a client again, it takes you nothing to get one of those external hard drives and put it on that in the cloud of their old site, because inevitably, if they don't maintain their site and if they don't pay their hosting bill, they will come back to you and ask to restore their site. And then you can quote a fee, a rather large fee to restore that site for them. And it costs you nothing to just put it on a backup. All right. So there's the next 10, Troy. What do you think? How are we doing?
Awesome. There's some good stuff in the chat. Well done. There's some good stuff in the chat. Somebody said here, how do you share your canned replies across the team? Great question from AJ Zane. So we use desk.com as our support desk. So that way canned responses get shared across the team. And you can also use those canned responses as a knowledge base article. Which actually reduces support tickets because people can kind of, answer their own questions by going through your knowledge base. So I would suggest routing all of your support emails to something like desk.com or Help Scout, and then having your canned responses set up in there, AJ Zane. I hope that
Desk.
helps there.
And even a Chrome extension, like Gorgias, Gorgias. I think you can share that login with the team. And then what backup services do we recommend? I use Manage WP for the actual WordPress websites. And then I do I call it a 3-pronged system. I have that backing up. Then I have, if they're on WP Engine, that backing up. And then I put a backup on Dropbox. And then I save like a 3-month, 6-month backup on external hard drive. I'm a little obsessed with backups. So, yeah.
Donna Cavalier says, not sure I understand the get paid before working on a live site point.
Okay. Do you want to touch that one, Troy? Or want me to?
Yeah, sure. So basically what that means is that if a client comes to you and they have an existing website, so you're not building it from scratch and they need some work done on that existing website, don't touch it unless they pay. Because you don't know what you're getting into when you start digging into a site that's already live. You're going to it's like, Pandora's box. So you want to make sure that there's some skin in the game from a client and that they're paying at least a deposit upfront, a substantial deposit upfront, before you start working on a site that already exists. That's what that point means. Yes. David Savage says, I constantly look for ways to use Zapier to automate my business. So I'm working towards, here's a radical idea. I'm working towards getting rid of email out of my life, and I'm working towards just living in Slack, and you can do all sorts of crazy things with Zapier and Slack. So hopefully in the next 12 months, I won't have an email address. All right.
I stopped emailing you now.
Yeah.
Stopped emailing you now.
It's a fireable offense if someone emails me.
And yes, I do have different versions of backup. So we do have Backup Buddy, and then we have the Manage WP version, and then WP Engine. So yeah, I have like all different kinds of backups. All right, let's move on to the next 10.
Cool.
Ready, Troy? Yep. All right, there's going to be a delay,
so
I'm going to kind of cut you off with the next slide.
No problem. That's fine. Feel free to cut me off anytime. Present clear proposals, suggested by Eva Sinnegren from Sweden, who is a WP Elevation member. And this might sound like a bit of a no-brainer, but the number one reason proposals don't get accepted is because people don't understand them. So present very clear proposals. All right, the next slide, I think, is be proactive. And that means, look for ways to help your clients and look for ways to help their businesses grow, and you will pick up more consulting work rather than just reacting to your client demands. I like this next one, or these next two actually go hand in hand. Have a pet project. So have something that you're working on that really nurtures you and something that you really enjoy and are passionate about. However, don't let that pet project overwhelm you. Control your pet project. Keep it on a tight leash and don't let it get away from you and destroy your freelancing business. Collaborate with others on anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be code or a live project. It could just be talking about proposals, or it could be talking about UI or UX. The more you talk to other people about this stuff, the more things kind of tend to sink in. And set hours for set things. So Monday mornings, I don't do any client-facing work or talk to any customers. Same with Friday afternoons. I have set hours for my set things, and I try and stick to those times in my calendar where I know I'm going to be best performing. And do one thing at one time. Don't multitask. Okay? Who here is multitasking? I know you're all multitasking. Multitasking has been clinically proven to... watching this. Exactly. It's been clinically proven to hurt your brain. So don't multitask. Focus on one thing at one time. Excuse me. Screen record tasks to delegate. This is one of my favorite ideas. So screen record common tasks, and you can use something like Droplr, Dropplr, does a really good job of this. And you can very quickly record a little video with some audio instructions and send that to a team member, and then get them to write that up as a process that you can repeat in the future. The next one here is run a Facebook group. This has been a game changer for us. Not only a Facebook group for our customers and our clients, but just a public Facebook group that people can come in and start having conversations. So if you service the manufacturing industry, for example, you might start a Facebook group and invite manufacturing businesses to come in and help each other with their business problems and have good conversations. And as the admin of a Facebook group, you have a very powerful thing there, which is called an engaged community. And offer a free ebook. So just take, the top 10 things that you do on every website and put that into a checklist and offer that as a free ebook, so that you're constantly giving value to people who are discovering you online. That's a great way to start building a list of leads and nurture them into customers.
Yeah. We have a lot of multitaskers on the chat. And I actually forked over the money for Droppler for Teens today, because I really wanted, when we QA'd support tickets, to have screenshots for every single support ticket for our WordPress websites. When he did something, I wanted a screenshot of it. So I forked over the money for Droppler for today. But I love that. I live and die for those recording screen tasks.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
then someone here says
asks if it's okay if he eats lunch while he's listening, and that's okay.
Someone says you still need an email address to access Slack. It's impossible to live without email. Okay, you're right. You do need an email address, but you don't need to ever check it. It's not impossible to live without email. You do need an email address to access things, to sign in and set up accounts with software tools, but you don't need to be checking your email address, and you don't actually need to have an email address. I don't think you need to have an email address. You can have a contact form, which gets routed to an email address. It's all about keeping you out of your inbox, because your email inbox is just a very handy tool for other people to organize their agenda of things they want you to do. So that's why I'm trying to get out of email. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So next, let's go. Woo. All right. Make generic tutorials. So as we were talking about recording screen tutorials, it's really important that if you're training your clients or teaching your clients how to do things, you don't say, hey, Bob, this is how you update the menu in your WordPress. Because then when Susie comes along, you say, hey, Susie, this is how you update the menu in your WordPress. So you make generic tutorials. And if you're too lazy to do this, you can use video user manuals, which was developed by the lovely Troy Dean right there, which you can install as a plugin in the website, and you have generic tutorials on how to use WordPress, and they're updated with the next release of WordPress. So it's magical. So just make those generic tutorials and then follow the influencers. So you really want to kind of see what people are doing, the people who are really leading the field. We've got some of them in the WordSesh sessions today, some pretty amazing rock stars in these sessions. Follow them, see what they're doing, and then, make it your own, follow what they're doing and kind of grow yourself. Learn marketing. This is huge, because I did not think of myself as a marketer before I met Mr. Dean right here. I always thought of myself as a developer, but I am selling services. I am selling products now. We always have to advertise ourselves and sell ourselves. So we really do need to at least get a really good understanding of marketing to be a rock star freelancer. And then don't refer to yourself as a freelancer, because you are running a business. This was suggested by Kath, and I think she's really nailed this. And I've made this transition mentally as well. A lot of people hear the word free and freelancer and get, kind of thrown by that too. But you are a business owner and you are running a business. So really think of yourself in that terms. And then interact with other humans. Get out of the four walls. Get out of the box. Go meet with other people. When we said this at WordCamp, we're like, and you are all doing that. But now in WordSesh, we're like, and they're not. You are all still in your four walls. But so go out, meet people, interact with other people, and then find a community. This has been such, I think, a great thing to see in our WP Elevation community, of how powerful community is to change. And especially as a freelancer, other people are doing what you're doing. And when you connect with other people, you learn so much if they're doing what you're doing. Then serve others. Really take a servant leadership attitude with how you run your business. The more you serve others and help other people, the more success you'll find. If you're helping other people, you are succeeding. There's so much Troy can say on that. And I'm going to flip through there so he can go back to that one, because I love what you say about that one, Troy, when we get to that slide. And then host an event. If you want to be a speaker and you've never been a speaker, book a venue, send out a time, host an event, and you become a speaker. Just like that. It's magical. So host an event, get out there, start speaking about WordPress or start speaking about your business, get in front of other people and start kind of being a little bit of a leader in your field as a freelancer, and you're going to rock. And then also know your target audience. This is really instrumental, I think, to actually running a successful business. If you know who you're serving, if you know who you're reaching, it's going to help focus your products and your services. And really like give you peace of mind. Gives me peace of mind. And then get a UVP, a unique value proposition. There's something that you do that other people don't do. And even if they are doing it, you do it a little bit differently. So find that unique value proposition, put it up as that nice headline in your website. This is who you are. This is who you serve. And it's, again, going to focus your products and services. So
cool.
There we go. Next 10. Woo.
Nice.
But I love what you say about serving others, because that's a huge thing. That's changed a lot for me.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think, when we start out in business, we like to make revenue. And when we start getting paid for our services, it kind of gets a little bit addictive. And then you can kind of get, hung up and focused on just making money. And a lot of people fall into that trap. And I think our business has grown and become so successful because I made a mindset shift about 3 years ago, and I decided to not worry about how I was going to make money, but I just wanted to be of service and I just wanted to be really helpful. And it's definitely catapulted our business. And of course, the money has come because the more people you impact and the greater impact you have on your audience, there's a direct correlation between how helpful you are and the revenue that you make and the success of your business. So, but it's just a mindset shift. It's approaching it from a service point of view rather than a making revenue point of view.
Totally. I love that.
Yeah. And it helps make decisions in the business too, because every decision we make in the business is designed to serve our customers. So
yeah.
Cool.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah. Develop processes. Suggested by Pete Perry. Yeah. This is great. And, the first process I think you should develop is the process for developing processes. So, which goes back to the screen casting with Dropler. Just make little videos and send them off and get them written up as processes. Productize. Take what you do, suggested by Jason Resnick. Thank you very much, Rez. Take what you do as a service and turn that into a product, whether it's a care plan, whether it's a plugin. The plugin's the obvious one. You're probably doing similar things on websites over and over again. Just turn it into a product and either give it away or start selling it. Sack bad clients, suggested by Clifford Almeida. This is, there's a really easy way to sack a client. You always frame it in terms of benefits for them. So you say something like, look, in order for your project to get the love and attention it deserves, we need to find someone else to help you because I'm not the droid you're looking for. I can't give your project the love and attention it deserves. And that's just a really gentle way of telling them to nick off. Delegate your weaknesses, suggested by Jackie Levi. Is that how you say Jackie's name?
I say Levi. Yeah.
Jackie
Levy.
Levy. So, identify what you are weakest at and get rid of it. One of the first things we got rid of was the bookkeeping in our business because we're not bookkeepers. We're not trained up as bookkeepers and we shouldn't be doing it. So delegate your weaknesses and consider relationships. Think about your clients as a long-term relationship. Don't think about it as just, a transactional thing. You've got to ask yourself, how is this relationship going to be mutually beneficial for, 2 or 3 years to come? Don't reduce your prices, please. Don't reduce your prices. Stick to your guns with your prices. If somebody, there are two ways to handle that. You just say to someone, look, we're going to take something out of the project if you can't afford that, or you just say, well, I'm really sorry you can't afford that. But stick to your prices and give yourself a pay raise. Give yourself a pay raise. Whatever you're paying yourself right now, just put it up and you will figure out a way to get the business to pay for it. Don't wait for the business to reach a certain milestone before you give yourself a pay raise. Give yourself a pay raise now and then get your skates on. Build an email list. This is probably the most valuable thing that you'll do in your business. The most valuable asset you can build is an engaged community of people who are potentially interested in your services. And then hire a VA. So these processes that you are working with and getting documented, hire an assistant somewhere, a VA somewhere to help you with some of those tasks that you're maybe not best positioned to do. Create blog content. I mean, a lot of us are already doing this, but I think we can all be creating content more consistently and of a higher quality. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be blogging every day. You know, we've all got that friend that doesn't say much, but when they do, it's really important. That's kind of how you should be treating your blog. It doesn't have to be voluminous. It just needs to be good quality and consistent. And yeah, that's it. So that's those 10.
And, you know, to sack bad clients, Cecilia had said, I'm new to freelance WordPress. I'm at a point where any client is a good one. And both Russell and Robert came back like, wrong. You know, I think it is really easy to feel, you know, you don't, to feel like a sense of, oh, I'm just starting, and, you know, a feeling of like, I'll take anybody. That's where you learn a lot of the bad habits that you could continue on in your business. So I would say start with good habits, start with qualifying clients. Start with qualifying the clients before you work with them. Find a niche. Take some of these advice now, and start off on the right foot, because a lot of us started off on the wrong foot, and it took us a while to refocus. Right?
Someone asked a question. Not sure if it was answered yet, but someone asked a question. Can you give an example of how you use WordPress within your business? So I think what we said before,
how I use WordPress to build stuff. I set up like my recurring revenue products as my maintenance plans. So they pay through the site. And because of that, I create a customer portal. And in the customer portal, I can put like different membership permissions based on the level that they're in the site, and show them different things because of it. So I'm using WordPress for my clients is somewhat of a product. So my website serves as a way to advertise my business, obviously, but in the same respect, it's kind of like I'm using it for my business, because I have all the payments go through there, the recurring subscriptions get renewed there, and then they have a customer portal. So yeah, that's how I did that.
Sweet. Cool.
All right, next. Woo! Podcast. It's funny, I get this slide. He's the master podcaster. Troy's the master podcaster. But this is really about putting yourself out there. We talk a lot about people kind of becoming the leader in their field, like themselves as their brand. Podcasting is a great way to do that. And you can even podcast with other people in the industry. You can team up and do different podcasts or guest podcasts just to get yourself out there as an expert in what you do. And speak at WordCamps. We've had the privilege to speak at WordCamps. It's a great way to position yourself to your clients as well. I've had clients stumble across my talks online, and even though it's not geared towards them, they found value in that. Obviously I knew what I was talking about, and my value to my clients goes up because of that. And then also sell value. This is really important when you're putting proposals together, when you're quoting people. You are valuable. You don't want to undermine the value that you have, and you want to always kind of quote for value and not sell, trade time for money in many ways and just sell the hour. You have a lot to bring to the table, and it's not just the service that you provide, but there's many aspects of probably what you do and what you do well. Troy's really good with that slide. And then sell discovery sessions. So a lot of times when you don't really know what to quote, and this happens a lot because the project is just not clear, it's best to sell a discovery session, single that out into its own product that you're going to go through the client, you're going to work through the deliverable, and you're going to hand them something like a blueprint. And if they go with you, that's great. If they go with someone else, they have a blueprint to do it. And you sell that as an individual discovery session. You can even do prototype websites within that discovery session. It's just makes it so much better to kind of know if you want to work with someone. And then sell website care plans, my favorite topic. I think website care plans are critical because we work with WordPress, and WordPress is a great product to maintain for our clients. We build them a beautiful website. Don't send them away. WordPress needs to be updated, plugins need to be updated and cared for, the site performance and security, and it becomes recurring revenue in your business, and it keeps the client in front of you all month long. So they know that you're there. They come back to grow their website. It's huge. And then don't sell hosting. This is such a controversial topic. Some people really like to sell hosting. I just feel like if you don't consider yourself a back-end developer, I don't think you should sell hosting. Now, people are resellers, and that's kind of something a little bit different, but still I like to have that separate with my clients and make them feel responsible for their hosting, but I do communicate with hosting for them. And next, you want to qualify your leads. We said that a little bit a while ago that when leads come in, you really should have some kind of hoop, a couple hoops, maybe 3 for them to jump through to really find out if it's the right person for you to work with you actually, because not every client is created equal. Not every lead is created equal. And you don't want to, agree to work with someone, tie yourself up for 3 months, and yet you're turning down work of the clients you'd actually want to work with. So qualify your leads. There's so much to say on that slide. We could go on for hours. And then don't meet for free. Your time is incredibly valuable. So there probably are some things. I've worked with other members in WP Elevation that they sell, like a website scan that may take them like a couple minutes to tell people what's going on with their site. But don't sit down and meet someone for free. Your time is valuable. Value your time and charge for that time. And then limit client meetings. So this was suggested by Karonda Adair. It's just when you're through a project and a proposal, set out how many meetings should be in that proposal and stick to that. Let the client know they can't just call you at the drop of a hat or expect that you're going to jump on the phone with them every day during the week while you're building the project. So limit those client meetings, say what times and how many in the proposal process there will be. Yes, Aaron, I agree with you. Karonda is amazing. And then finally, network. A little bit of what we're doing here. Meet people in the WordPress community. Get out, meet other people who are not kind of doing what you're doing. Maybe SEO is not your strength. Network with someone whose SEO is their strength, or social media, or back-end developers, front-end developers, designers. You bring that network of people together and you actually become a much more valuable freelancer because you have a network of people that you can refer work out to and work with on projects. And that's our to 60. We're over halfway through. There we go.
Scott Basgard is now Googling Karonda, Karonda Adair. Lauren asks, what are some ways you can qualify your leads? And Russell Aaron responded and said, qualifying leads would include asking their goals and if they have examples of what they want to do. Most clients only know their logo, colors, and nothing else. And yeah, that's a great way to qualify leads. The obvious way for me to qualify a lead is to ask them if they have a budget allocated for this project. Most small businesses don't have a budget allocated to their project. So that is a big qualifier for me. They need to understand that this is going to cost some money and they should be prepared to invest in it. And also I want to know what kind of project they're working on and what kind of business they're in. There are some industries that I just won't work in for my own reasons. So there's a couple of ways you can qualify. But I think budget's
big one.
Budget's the first qualifier.
Because
otherwise you just end up with sticker shock, right? You have this great conversation with someone and you form a great relationship and everyone loves each other, and then you put in a quote and they're like, oh my God, how much does it cost to build a website?
Right. And it's a scale. Yeah. So like on one is the goals and the needs, and then on the other end is budget. So if they don't line up, that's the first conversation you have to have. So, or if not have the conversation at all, like a $500 e-commerce site that wants to look like Amazon, that's just not a conversation. It's not going to happen. Okay.
And yes, that is Karonda. That is Karonda on Twitter, just at Karonda, Kronda. Yeah. Someone was asking if that was her, and it is. Sweet. All right.
All right, next.
What are we up to now?
Up to 61.
Yeah, team up to learn. Team up to learn from mistakes. Thank you to Jamie Hill for this one. And, I think it's really interesting when you team up with other people. Our business, our team has grown a lot in the last even 6 months. And when you team up with people, you learn from each other's mistakes really quickly. It's like, oh, no, don't do that. I tried that. It didn't, it didn't work. And it also forces you to have a look at what the mistakes that you've made in the past and kind of own up to them as well. Set expectations with clients right from the get-go. Tell them how often you're going to be communicating with them. Tell them what you are prepared to do. Tell them that you don't work weekends, and no, you can't have my mobile number and I'm not answering the phone on the Saturday morning. So be really clear with your expectations with your clients. And the next one that dovetails into this is to have a support email address. So one of the best things I did in my business 5 years ago was put my phone on silent and routed all of our support emails to a help desk. And it really helped clear up my headspace and gave me room to get my workflows right. And then send your calls to the voicemail and say, hey, thank you for calling. If this is a support query, please email support@blah.com. And then just check your voicemail, once or twice a day, and check your emails once or twice a day, and route everything else to the support email. And run a business. Don't think about this as a hobby that you do from home. Thank you to Diana Gaffney. This is, again, a mindset shift. Make sure that you've got, separate bank accounts, and that you've got, that you're putting money aside for tax and that you've got all your business registration set up properly. Treat it as a business, and which leads directly into separate finances. Make sure that you are paying yourself a wage or some kind of allowance from the business, but have separate bank accounts and have separate accounts for your tax, suggested by Leslie Sorrell. You do not want to be getting to the end of the year and then realize you have a huge tax bill. And Amy Key suggested this one: get a bookkeeper. It's the first thing you should do is get someone to help you with your books, because it's time consuming, and unless you are an expert at it, then you won't be doing it properly. And the next idea here is to get some legal help. You don't have to spend thousands on this, but just get someone you know who is a lawyer or who knows a lawyer to run their eyes over your T's and C's and to make sure that you are doing everything right and ticking all the right boxes, crossing your T's, dotting your I's. Yeah, someone said best money ever spent to save money in my business. Exactly. And know what you can write off. There's lots of things that you can write off as expenses if you have a business, or your travel to WordCamps, of course, all the plugins, all the software you use. So know what you can write off and make sure that you're claiming everything on your tax, and stay true to your word, suggested by Melissa Manozzi, who I think we met in New York when we were there, Kristina. Stay true to your word. If you say you're going to do something, follow through and over deliver, under promise and over deliver.
Great. Yeah. I did the whole bookkeeper and legal help last week.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you got to do it. Someone said, how would you go about quoting a budget? That's a whole other conversation, Plotzy, which we can have another time. But the easiest way to start quoting a budget is to, first of all, you've got to find out whether or not the client has a budget, because there's no point in having a conversation if they just don't have a reasonable budget. And then you've got to know how much your business costs you to run every day. And then you've got to know how long it's going to take to build sites and how much value those sites are adding to your clients. And then you can start to have a think about, a fair and reasonable fee for your services.
Someone had asked if we ever had leverage, have ever leveraged text messaging with clients, like something with Google Voice, or has it only led to problems? Every communication with a client usually goes to the support desk and support email, unless they're asking about almost like something unrelated. But I try to make them all go to a support desk, because I have a virtual assistant and a developer, so I almost don't have to be there to make things happen and respond. So I don't want them texting. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
How
cool.
bad is the delay, Troy? I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of a delay between when you can hear me.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm only hearing you when I'm hearing you, so I don't know if I can see you speaking, and you know what I mean?
All right. All right. So move on. Set work-life balance rules. Both Troy and I really laugh at this slide, because it's something you're constantly working on. It's not like we've achieved it, but I have 3 small children, 5, 3, and almost a year. So work-life balance is like the holy grail for me, and I'm constantly getting better at it every day. I have to. So you make the rules where, only check email at a certain time, you put your computer away, don't work on weekends, that kind of thing. And then get dressed, no sweatpants. If you get up in the day, get dressed, go like you're going to work when you work from, this is basically from working from home. When you work from home, treat your day like that, and it'll make you feel a little bit better, like you're heading into work. You're going to be more productive when you do something like that, suggested by Julie Walpers. And then walk every morning. I think this is something Troy practices. Get out of the house, especially if you're going to be sitting in front of the computer. They said what sitting is the new smoking. So we want to be active, right? And get out from behind our desk as much as we can. And this is my favorite, get work shoes, suggested by Nathan Wrigley. So this is a great story from Nathan, that when he works from home, when he goes and he's at work at home, he wears his Birkenstocks, and his family knows that he's at work as long as he's wearing his Birkenstocks. So if he goes and makes himself a sandwich in the kitchen, but he has his Birkenstocks on, they know not to bother him, that he's at work. I love this. And so I'm still working on what my work shoes are, but almost having something that shows you're at work to your family is a really good way of also helping with those work-life balance. And then value your work, suggested by Cliff Almeida. You know, you are valuable. The fact you guys are even here at WordSesh shows that you are valuable because you're trying to increase your skill set. You're trying to become more valuable by expanding your knowledge. So value that. You've become more valuable to your client the last 40 minutes that you've been on this WordSesh session, because you've learned all of this great stuff that's going to make you more valuable and a better business owner and more productive. And then know your why. This is, there we could do a whole thing on this. Know your why you're doing, why are you doing this? This isn't the easiest road. This actually isn't the easy path. This is actually the hard path. So know your why. My why is I want to be able to get up in the middle of the day, go take my kids to the park and go take them to school and bring them home from school and spend time with them at this time in my life. That is my why. And that is why I work hard to do what I do, to be my own boss and run my own thing. And whys evolve and they change, and your passion sort of changes along with it. So if you're burnt out, it's probably because you don't know your why and you're not making it work for you. Set yearly goals. There's a book called Traction. Troy, the author of Traction, what's his name?
Gino Wickman.
And I just love this. I'm going to have you kind of ramble on when these slides are done about setting those big yearly goals. And if they don't fit into those yearly goals, then it's an easy decision-making process to say to not do those things. This has been big for me as well, to be able to actually set those yearly goals and then turn down things that don't fit into it. And then reward yourself. I just did this week. Got myself a black leather jacket. But get that Amazon wish list together and reward yourself. You guys work really hard, and even the smallest reward will just kind of keep you going and remind you why you're doing what you're doing. So don't forget to do that for yourself, and get an accountability partner. We have seen this take off in the program that we run at WP Elevation and in our other course, Rockstar Empires. Pairing people up with accountability partners has transformed people's lives. Having that accountability actually makes you actually follow through on the things you want to do. And in fact, we have a great story in WP Elevation where we paired people up as an accountability partner, these two guys, and they went into business together. It was just the coolest thing. That just happened a few weeks ago. But they loved working together so much they went into business together. And then don't work weekends. There's no reason why you should work weekends. You are not a 24/7 business. If you are, then I hope you have a lot of people working for you, but don't work weekends. There's no reason that you need to be doing that. You have a life, and it should end on Friday. So do you want to talk a little bit more about Traction?
Yeah, so unless working weekends fits into your yearly goals, because it is Saturday here in Australia, and it's 12:42 on Saturday afternoon, and here I am working. Because a couple of things: A, I love this kind of stuff, but B, so the thing with the yearly goals is, here's the analogy: if you have a glass on your desk and you have a bunch of rocks, a bunch of pebbles, a bunch of sand, and a container of water, and you need to get all of that into the glass. What some people might do is put the sand in first and then the water, and then obviously the glass is now full and the sand's absorbed all the water and you can't get anything else in. So the idea is you put the rocks in first, then you put the pebbles in, and the pebbles take up the space between the rocks. Then you pour the sand in, and that takes up the space between the pebbles, and then you pour the water in, which gets absorbed by the sand, and you can get everything in the glass. The point is that you need to put the big rocks in the glass first. So we have a yearly goal that we want to impact. We want to impact and help 1,000 WordPress consultants in WP Elevation. We want to get to that 1,000 membership mark. And we're currently about what I'm wanting to achieve. And
that's awesome. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at a comment. Scott says, no shirt, no shoes, no service, no pants, WordSesh.
Okay. And so, I think in the past, I've spent a lot of time doing things because I thought it might. Say again?
You're cutting in and out just a little bit.
Sorry. I think in the past, I've spent a lot of time doing things that I thought might be a good idea or might be cool, but I wasn't really sure why I was doing them. And now I'm super clear about why I do what I do, because our goal is very clear and we know where it is we're headed. All right, let's go.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right.
Avoid digital eye strain by following the 20-20-20 rule. Very simple. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 meters away or 20 feet away for 20 seconds to avoid digital eye strain. Digital eye strain is a thing. It's not just something we made up. It's actually a thing. Get out of the house. You can get very insular and kind of, get lost in your own little cabin fever silo. So get out of the house and talk to other people. And get a standing desk. I've got this fantastic sit-down, stand-up desk. I sit down and stand up a few times throughout the day. It just keeps me mobile, helps me with some fitness, and it keeps my back from seizing up. Get a dog, suggested by Dana Gaffney. I have a little dog, comes to the office with me most days, and she's awesome. She just reminds me, about things and helps me keep things in perspective. When I say she reminds me about things, she doesn't actually remind me to do things. Like, she just reminds me about what's important in life. Love your office. Treat your office like a sacred space. Set it up so that it's awesome, so that you absolutely love going into your workspace and getting stuff done. Hide notifications on your phone. I can't tell you how much that made an impact on my productivity. I just don't get any notifications on my phone whatsoever. And listen to music. Set up your day so that you've got music to keep you motivated when you need motivating. I listen to some jazz in the morning, and then in the afternoon I'm off into some hardcore German trance and EDM to get me motivated. Get an online scheduler. I use Schedule Once, and I also use Calendly for two different things. But get an online scheduler so people can just book an appointment to chat with you. And if they don't have an appointment, then they can't chat. And I love this next one. Take a vacation. Make sure that you reward yourself by doing some travel or just getting out of the city every now and then and just resetting. There's no fun in burning out. You're no good to anyone if you're just working all the time. And accept imperfection and just keep moving, suggested by Kath Beaton. Don't let perfect be the enemy of done. Yeah, don't let perfect be the enemy of done. And so that's those 10. Yeah. What is this out of the house thing? Says Mike Conati. Never heard of it.
Yes, people love the dog. Love the dog when people can relate to having a dog.
Yeah.
Office dogs.
Yeah.
Love bringing their dogs to work. Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, let's move, and then we have a little bit of time. So, be quirky, suggested by Jocelyn Mozak. Everyone has their own thing, their own vibe. Let it come through. You run your own business. You are your own person if you're on this, most likely, and just be quirky and be yourself. And then be the boss. Your clients, surprisingly enough, are not your boss. You are your boss. They're merely like patrons in a restaurant. You're merely just offering services. So you are the boss. It ends with you, and you can change things to make your business better. And then finally, fix what's broken. It's actually probably really easy to run away from something in your business that's not working. But if you sit down and you work through the process and find a better way to do it, you'll find that that is the best path 9 times out of 10. I found this to be the case. If I get kind of burnt out, sometimes I just go back rather than abandoning. I go back, work through what's broken, and find a better process. Then my favorite, befriend an Aussie, that guy right there, Dean, which really for this slide is just to kind of get out of yourself, get out into the world. We are a global community here at WordPress, and it is life-changing to get out of your world and reach out and see and connect with people all around the world. That is the beauty of what we do and being able to work online. Love you, Troy Dean. And then don't hire family. And the reason this is a great slide is that family is really easy to hire, but impossible to fire. And if you are your boss and you're running your own business, you're going to need the leverage of being able to let people go if they're not doing their job. And it's almost impossible if you hire family. So I'm going to leave that right there. I don't know. Maybe someone, maybe controversial. I don't know. And then learn to say no. This comes almost over time, but learn to say no. It's learn to say no to the wrong clients, learn to say no to scope creep, learn to say no, and build those boundaries, and you will rock. That's a freelancer, that's for sure. Finally, breathe. I'm going to do that right now after running through this. Breathe every day. Find times to breathe. I stop. I do exactly what Troy does. I almost stop breathing when I'm staring at the screen too long. And we really need to remember that, to breathe, relax, and move through our day. And then don't quit yourself. We all have those moments. You're not alone. We all have those moments, head in hands, that this is just too hard. But you don't want to quit on yourself. You just want to pick yourself back up, do what these slides have said, figure out where the problems are, fix them, make changes, and moving forward. Save when just keep saving. That's the best thing you can do when you run your own thing, right? As a freelancer, keep saving. You never know when the rainy day is going to be. So, you want to put that money away. And then finally, live life. If you are find yourself not living life, not enjoying, not being able to go out to that movie with your partner, not being able to enjoy a passion that you've always loved, not having a life on weekends and feeling tied to the computer on evenings that the computer's open in front of the television, go back through 99 slides and see if you're implementing any one of these. And almost if you implement even 5 of these, you'll start to see your life kind of open up and your business take shape. Finally, Troy, let's do this one.
Rocket. What does that mean? Tell us what that means, Kristina.
Rocket. This means so much. I'm actually doing the whole horns, the rock and roll horns
to the
right
sky,
now.
man. Horns to the sky.
It really is. You smash it. Smash it. You take this, you run with it, and you smash it.
Yeah, just own it, man.
Knock it out of the park.
Own your business.
Give 110%.
Own the fact that you are, the master of your domain. Just own it. Absolutely rock it. Own it. Be unique and be original and own it. 100%. Yeah. Cool. Mm-hmm. So I think that's it. I think we're done. Perfect timing.
Sweet. 10:50.
All right.
We nailed
Perfect timing. Good stuff. Thanks for having us, guys. And you can learn more at wpelevation.com. Come and hang out and keep the conversation going. There's tons of cool stuff on the